from the deep, dark hollows of southeastern Kentucky, where the moonshine is strong, the stories are strange, and your neighbor is probably your cousin. This is Appalachia, not so quiet. Hey, welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Hillbilly Phantom. As always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host,
Appalachian Shade.
How are you doing today, sweetheart?
Good.
Doing
Great.
good?
Wonderful. Just a lazy day.
You're never going to tell me if you're having a bad day, are you?
I don't normally have bad days.
Really? And I get frustrated at work. It just turns into a bad day. I hate when that happens. I mean, I try not to let that one bad thing run my whole day, but sometimes it's just thing after thing, and it just turns into a bad day. But I got to say, I'm always having a much better day when I'm with you. When I'm here at home with the kids. You know, it's just work is aggravating.
Yeah, work sucks.
So in our last episode, we discussed
Hoodoo in the holla.
That's right. Hoodoo in the holler. And we were celebrating because we'd hit 1,000 listens. Now, I know we said on our next episode we'd draw a winner, but we're actually giving it a little bit more time to cook because we're getting some listens here and there on it. We're hoping to get more people involved.
Comment.
Yeah,
comment.
we
Don't
need
be
your
afraid to
comments.
comment. Just give us a thumbs up. Something. Don't be afraid to comment if you're listening.
Get on that last episode, Hoodoo in the Holler, and leave us a comment. Say you want some free merch. Give us a thumbs up. Just let us know that you're listening and that you want some merch. We got a coffee mug and a t-shirt.
With your name on it.
With somebody's name on it.
Well, technically not your name on it, but...
Well, okay, yeah. But it is a cool shirt. It's got a little
cool
logo.
Mug.
Yeah. I mean, the mug's cool too. It's got a little logo. Both of them are basically the same thing. And then on the back is the QR code. Yeah, I mean it's nice looking too. It's not some kind of Chinese ripoff type of thing.
Only the best for the best.
That's right. So yeah, get on there and leave us a comment, and we'll try to on our next episode. Even if we don't get any more, we'll just go ahead and do it on the next episode. But I'm really hoping that all you out there will go back, take a listen at that episode.
Or if you've already listened, go back and comment.
Yeah, make sure to go back and comment on the episode. You can comment on all the platforms we're on except iHeart. That's the only one you can't comment on. So,
yeah, but it's a good platform.
Yeah,
so
it is
good.
We
get a lot of listens from iHeart.
Yeah, that's where some of our international listens have been coming from as well. So somebody out there is going to have a t-shirt mug on the next episode. Now, on this episode, this is kind of a big one for our area. A lot of people, I think that just about everybody in Knott County probably has at least heard about this story, this individual that we're going to discuss.
So before we get started, let's read a disclaimer. This episode discusses real crime cases involving murder and violence. All information presented is drawn from publicly available sources such as court records, news archives, and published accounts. Some details are based on community recollections or local reporting. These are included for context and should not be taken as verified facts unless explicitly stated. The opinions expressed by myself and
Phantom
are commentary for storytelling and educational purposes only. All persons named, well, in this case, they're already proven guilty, unless I guess the court changes their mind, because it seems like they have here in the past. So, we'll go deeper into that in the stories.
Yeah.
So, and also, this content may be distressing for some listeners, so discretion is advised.
Yeah, you kind of have to give that warning whenever you're going to be discussing a murder case.
Yeah, murder in some cases. It's how you have to say it so you don't get blocked or banned.
Yeah, I'm not really concerned with that. No. People have taken on TikTok, I've noticed, especially, you have to say unalived.
Yeah, or schmurder.
Or schmurder, yeah. I'm not going that route. if I get blocked or whatever for
But we will be
using the
posting
term that is appropriate, then I guess so be it.
photos and some content on a TikTok. So
Yeah, we'll definitely be doing a
Mhm.
TikTok related to this episode. Now, this is the story from when I was a kid. I was 6 years old.
I was an infant.
Yeah. Yeah, you would have been 1.
1 year and 3 months.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
You were a kid.
Yeah, I was 6 years old, and I kind of remember it, like hearing about this. There was some kind of murder that had happened, and I remember hearing the name Clawvern Jacobs.
People used to scare you with that name too.
Yeah,
He's gonna get you. You better watch out for it.
and I wasn't really, keen on the details being a 6-year-old, but I do remember a little more from when it went to trial because I was a little bit older. I was like 9 or 10, I think, whenever the trial happened. Well, that name, it kind of resonates, especially because I heard it wrong. I even just purposefully pronounced it a little bit wrong because his name is Clawvern, Claw, Claw, Vern, Vern, Jacobs. And I remember back then, whenever I would hear the name, I always thought people were saying clobbering, as in like, clobbering people over the head because that's what happened. Yeah. If I'm remembering correctly, I even remember a news headline that actually had clobbering in quotation mark. So yeah, I went for years and years thinking this guy was clobbering Jacobs. But the reason that most people probably know this guy's name is for a murder that happened in September of 1986. So this murder was pretty much everywhere in the local news. I remember my parents discussing it. And on September 16th, 1986, 18-year-old girl just started her sophomore year of college, Judy Ann Howard.
Judy Ann Howard. She was born November 20th, 1967, and her parents are Don and Betty Friley Howard, and they were from Salyersville, Kentucky, in Montgomery County. And then she attended Alice Lloyd College in Pepapasas in Knott County at the time. It says that she was a young woman committed to her education from a small Kentucky town who had dreams and hope like any student heading into a new term. She graduated from Montgomery County High School before attending Alice Lloyd College.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot of information on Judy Ann. I guess that they kept a lot of her personal information and her parents, anything about their personal lives was kept out.
Yeah, well, I did find that they were hardworking and, they were Christians and they were really involved in their church.
Okay.
And, Judy likely chose Alice Lloyd because it was like accessible for Eastern Kentucky students and offered an affordable opportunity for higher education in our region.
Yeah, it's not really considered a Christian college, I don't think.
It's more of like a work college, like you can work to pay your tuition.
It's very rooted in Christian values. They have a lot of, like you said, they do a lot of work.
And they serve their community. Their house is like a,
Right, serving the community and things like that. So it's not really a Christian school, but highly rooted in Christian values.
So the story begins September 16th, 1986, when Judy Ann leaves her friend's dorm to go back to her personal dorm. And on her way, she is abducted by Clawvern Jacobs.
Yeah. Clawvern grabs her and forces her into his pickup truck. Most accounts say that this pickup truck was a blue Chevy.
Yeah, like a light blue, maybe almost white.
Almost white?
Yeah, like
no,
that's
not what I read.
Really light blue is what I'm reading.
Yeah, light blue is one thing, but white is another. But we did come across one source that said a white Ford with a camper top.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where they got that information. Most of the other information, including official court documents and things, say that it was, I think, actually his father's blue Chevy pickup.
Yes.
Yeah. So, he grabs Judy and forces her into this.
And his father openly states that it was was his personal truck, but Clawvern used it. He was the primary driver of this vehicle. So it was his.
Yeah, he was the one who drove it all the time, but
Mhm.
so it was assumed to be his, but it was actually in his father's name.
So Judy leaves her friend's dormitory to return to hers between 9 and 10 p.m. because they have to report back to their room advisor. I think that's what they're called.
Yeah.
Or dorm advisor. You have a curfew at Alice Lloyd College to be
Yes.
back in your room.
Yeah, that I actually knew some people that attended Alice Lloyd, and yeah, they always griped about the curfew. They couldn't stay out on a weekday.
Yeah. So she doesn't return to her dorm, and her roommates start to get concerned because Judy is like one of the top students there. She's well liked. She's always like got her homework done, going to class. This is totally out of
Very
the norm.
responsible
Yeah.
student.
This is not normal for her.
Right.
So they go and speak to their dorm advisor and tell them that she does not show up. The dorm advisor then reports to the campus police, and that's when the search began to try, they looked all over campus trying to find her. They don't find her. And then campus police then reports to Kentucky State Police Post 13.
That's right. And now during the time when Judy was with her friends getting ready to walk back to her dorm, just down the road from the college is a gas station. And supposedly, Clawvern Jacobs stopped at this gas station and purchased $5 in gas. And the attendant at the time, I believe they said it was a Gibson, actually heard Clawvern Jacobs say, "Let's go get us a girl," or
a woman.
Yeah, let's go get a woman, something of that nature. Now there's very little else that's reported on that encounter.
So they didn't say anything about him being maybe possibly intoxicated or
Right.
mentally unstable.
Yeah, I didn't read anything.
Normal.
Yeah, I didn't read anything indicating that the attendant thought that Mr. Jacobs was, out of sorts, I guess you might say. Just that he made that statement after paying for his gas on his way out the door.
I mean, that's typical, maybe, to say, let's go find me a woman. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you might hear guys say that, like getting ready to go out to the bar on a Friday night.
Yeah.
I worked at a gas station. I worked the night shift at a gas station. And yeah, guys come in around 8, 9 o'clock. They'd be all dressed up, smelling like they bathed
Cheap cologne.
in cologne. And they'd be like, yep, going to go out to the bar, see if I can't find me a honey, that
Right.
type of thing. So I guess it's not that unusual to hear somebody say that.
You just didn't know what context to take it in at the time.
But, not long after this encounter, Clawvern Jacobs forced Judy Ann Howard into his truck and took off with her.
Now, this is prior to, I think, Alice Lloyd College having the security gates up and things like that, because it's just stuff that didn't happen in our area.
Right.
They didn't have the security gates up that they do now. But now the campus goes on complete lockdown at night. There's a cop on each end that monitors who comes in, who goes out.
Yeah. And there's something I know you won't remember, but the road that runs through Pipapassus, it used to go through the college campus.
The hill wasn't there. They just had recently done that.
They hadn't done that little bypass that goes up and around the college yet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe that was like the first year they had it or something. I don't know. I just remember that the road used to be straight through the campus. And yeah, there's college students just wandering around everywhere. Now, one can only speculate, I guess, what transpired between this abduction and when the police found Mr. Clawvern Jacobs. Because this whole part, it just seems a little strange. Like you said, the campus police and then the state police were involved. Now, the state police, Trooper Woods was one of the officers. I don't remember the name of the other officer. But Trooper Woods and his partner end up on a holler about 7 miles from campus.
Yeah, after abducting her, Jacobs drove her several miles from the college in his truck. Kentucky State Police later found Jacobs parked along a Royal Road, which it says Smith Branch Hollow. Smith Branch, to me, is like from Malley Post Office area to, let's say, where the First Bank of Hyman is, there where the IGA and everything is. But
Okay.
from where I put it on maps, it's showing Malley Road, just above the post office. Used to be called Smith Branch Malley Hollow. That's where, yeah. They discovered over a 60-foot embankment Judy's nude body directly below Jacob's truck.
Yeah, this is just so bizarre. These
Mhm.
troopers pull up. I mean, they've been, searching up and down the Pipapassis area. They end up on this holler, and here sits this truck. Inside is Clawvern Jacobs.
Right. And they say that he was covered in blood as well.
Yeah. They start looking around the area, and over an embankment directly behind where his truck is parked. Like, he had to have just disposed of her body. But they found, her body was over this embankment, about 60 feet down the hill from his truck.
And investigators found like her clothing, her shoes, her college identification, those items in and outside of the truck, and that linked her to the scene. That's, when they
Yeah.
seen all that, they knew she was around there somewhere.
Yeah, they knew immediately that she had been in that truck, and now she was lying dead over an embankment.
The details of some of the items they found was a tan jacket with Judy's Alisoid ID tag, a white blouse, white bra, blue jeans, and her keys marked with Judy on them. Near the truck, there was drag marks and disturbed ground leading down the embankment. And at the bottom of the embankment was Judy's body, showing signs of blunt force trauma to the head.
Yeah, he killed her by hitting her over the head with something. I'm not sure that they ever found the exact murder weapon. I wasn't able to come across anything related to that during my research. But, I mean, they just about caught him in the act, it seems. So surely the murder weapon was there somewhere.
If it's up on a hill, he probably had time to hear them coming.
Yeah, I'm sure he did, but he didn't try to run. He just sat there. And
the first statement he gave to the cops when they got there was there was 3 or 4 guys that forced him and Judy into the truck, and they done all of that.
Okay.
That was his first story.
His first story. It changed several times after that.
His second story is that he had been drinking heavily, and Judy had voluntarily gotten to his truck. And after the argument or struggle, she fell or was hurt accidentally when she tried to push herself out of the vehicle.
Yeah, that seems very unlikely.
Mm-hmm. And that kind of contradicted things because, there was marks showing that a struggle, like drag marks, or he dragged her body and things like that.
Yeah, and he was covered in blood and not far from the body. It's kind of hard to pin it on somebody else or just be like, oh, I don't know what happened.
And then his third story was, I don't remember, I blacked out, memory lost.
I was drunk, I was high, I don't know what happened.
And he said that his attorney took over and made him look guilty by pushing that strategy. He was drunk, he didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, if that's going to be your story, you got to stick to it.
Right, so we have a group of men jumped me and took this girl and my truck and me in it. And then we have it was an accident, she fell and I panicked. And then I don't remember, I was drunk.
So, yeah, this guy is obviously guilty. Doesn't seem to be any doubt about that. And as litigation began and the proceedings got...
things started to get heated.
Yeah, it's the legal battle was coming up. They were preparing for it. It turns out...
And her parents wanted to take him to the cleaners. Pay.
Yeah, absolutely. They wanted this monster put away. They tried every way in the world to put the balance of justice in favor of Clawvern Jacobs. His defense team did. They tried to get the venue moved.
They didn't want media coverage.
Yeah, they didn't want the media in the courtroom. Thought it would make things biased. They were constantly
persuade the jury.
Yeah, they were constantly complaining about jury selection too, saying all these people were biased. They tried to get the judge expelled, Judge Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
They tried everything in the world to delay this case as long as possible.
And who was his attorneys?
Well, first we have Neil Walker, who is the assistant public advocate who represented Jacobs in the early stages of his arrest and trial. Gary Johnson, Assistant Public Advocate, early DPA Staff Counsel. Ned Pillersdorf, court-appointed private counsel appointed by trial court involved in fee litigation. Derek C. Gordon, court-appointed private counsel. And Jerry Anderson, who replaced Pillersdorf as appointed co-counsel at trial.
So the appellate attorneys were Donald J. Combs of Hazard and William R. Weinberg of Hyman, Kentucky.
So they also helped in the appeals process.
Yep.
So a lot of big names in the attorney world. Anybody around the Knott and Perry area knows most of these names, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not explicitly stated that Weinberg and Combs are his defense attorneys during the original 1988 to 89 trial.
Right.
But he appealed it after being found
Yeah,
guilty.
it's part of the appeals court, yeah. And then, of course, on the prosecution side, the Attorney General and Commonwealth Counsel, Chris Gunman was counsel for the Commonwealth. Kent Young was Assistant Attorney General. A.B. Chandler III, Attorney General. David A. Smith, Assistant Attorney General. And Jack Conway appears as counsel for the Commonwealth in the Court of Appeals filings and briefings. So another list of pretty big names from the Commonwealth.
And these are pretty good attorneys in our area.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, these are some of the top guys.
It sounds like all of them together, trying to collaborate on how to prove his innocence.
Yeah. And then on the other side, prove his guilt. Yeah, it was a very big legal battle. I mean, it took like 3 years for them to just actually get to the trial. And then it was another year or so before they actually got the decision, got the guilty verdict. So in that trial, Jacobs is tried and convicted and sentenced to death for capital murder, life for kidnapping, and an additional 20 years for attempted first-degree rape. Now, during the trial phase, there's another reason that I remember it a little better, is because my mother was a paralegal for one of those attorneys that were mentioned, and she actually had to go take deposition. She had a little tape recorder, that had the little tiny cassette tapes. Those, yeah, she had one of those, and that's what she would record her depositions on. And then, of course, later on, she would have to type those out.
And she's fresh out of college, and she gets this big case.
Yeah. She graduated, got her paralegal degree in 87, the end of 87. By 88, she was working for that law firm.
Yeah.
And yeah, like towards the end of 88 through 89 is when this trial happened. And she was working for one of those attorneys.
And that's all she shared with you all, right?
Right. She didn't really talk about any details of the case with us anyway, with the children. I'm sure that she probably confided more in my dad, because they would sit around the kitchen table having discussions just like this, like we do.
Yeah.
Just talking about things, talking about the events going on in the world. And yeah, this was kind of a big thing. So
that's what I liked about your mom. Like, when she worked in the court system after this, and there was something big going on, she's like, I can't tell nothing about it now. Don't you question me. Like, she was so professional.
She knew exactly what was happening. She read everything. She was the one that had to go through everything.
She had
all the files,
all the juicy stuff, and she kept it.
She had all the tea.
Gosh, oh my gosh, I couldn't live like her.
I don't know how she did it.
She's like, just watch the news now. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, she really didn't spill the beans on anything. She kept that with her.
That takes some discipline.
Oh yeah.
Just want to.
Yeah.
And in a small town, like, if you know all the tea, like,
yeah, you want to break it out.
You want to share with everybody.
Yeah, she was definitely not a gossiper or nothing. Yeah, she was Miss Professional. She really was.
It would have been so great. And we may find something if because she was a really good writer too. So maybe she's collaborated all these stories into a book.
Well, we can hope. I know she had journals every now and then. She would.
Right, but nothing juicy in it.
She She took it all with her to her grave.
But to bottle all that up, oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a lot of discipline. So yeah, she didn't discuss it openly anyway. Like I said, she may have, her and my dad may have discussed it more in depth.
Well, I mean,
So-
I have stuff that I'll personally just share with you because
Yeah.
I can trust you.
Yeah, that's kind of what, she knew she could trust him and,
Yeah.
wouldn't accidentally blab. Kids,
Right.
you tell them stuff
Right,
and
you
they
go
may just
gossip at
blab
school and stuff,
something.
be like, my mommy said this is what's
Yeah.
going on, this is what she read.
Oh,
So she knew she
Yeah.
couldn't share with you all.
Right. Yeah, she was afraid we'd go blabbing
And
to
she,
everybody.
she wouldn't do anything that would endanger her job because that's what fed her and
Yeah.
fed you all.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
she was not. You couldn't break her.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
matter how good it was, you couldn't break. Just watch the news, read the paper.
Yeah, she was one of those, like, the CIA could have captured her
Yeah,
and tortured her,
interrogated her.
interrogated her. She would never give up
Yeah.
her secrets. But yeah, I don't know any of the details, unfortunately. But all I know is that she was going to have to go do deposition of somebody
in the family.
in that guy's family, and it was back up. She had to go up in the holler where they lived, which is that Smith's Branch Road or whatever. And she was a little kind of skittish about it because she didn't
this
know.
was like her first major case. Like,
right, and
she doesn't want to mess it up. She doesn't know what she's going into.
Right. I mean, this dude just killed somebody. Who's to say there couldn't be more?
She just felt uneasy
people.
going out there, and they sent her by herself.
Yeah, she was going to have to go out there by herself. And I know this freaked my dad out a little bit too, and that's what kind of got me worried and thinking, wow, is my mom's job really this dangerous? Because my dad was worried. If my dad was worried, it was serious. So as a precaution,
just to make her feel at ease, and safe.
Yeah,
because
just for peace of mind.
Because and she had to go over there where this killer was. They hadn't convicted him yet.
Right.
She had to go over there in Pippa Passes. What if Clawvern wasn't, and she was going in that area? So it could have been someone else. Yeah. They hadn't caught him yet. So to make her feel safe to even go to Caney.
That's what I'm saying. Who's to say there ain't more crazies like this out there somewhere?
Right. Who's to say she's out there to gather information to prove this guy either guilty or not guilty. And she's still really not sure if they've even caught the right guy.
Yeah.
So I can see why she took something with her.
Yeah, I mean, it was a scary moment. I'm sure a lot of people were, packing weapons. But I know just for peace of mind, for her and my dad, she did make sure she had a weapon, a small pistol in her purse when she went and did this. That was probably the only time I was, like I said, I was scared just because it was just a very serious moment. And that's what really kind of cemented just how serious it was.
But I wonder too if she was like, I mean, this is one of the cases of a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? You're fresh out of college and you're like, well, this is major. Like, you want to do this, but then you're like scared to do it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I can't imagine what she would have been feeling.
Yeah.
Having to go do this deposition related to this murder case.
Yeah.
That's anytime you're dealing with a murder case, it's going to be kind of freaky.
Yeah.
There's people that
well, the attorney she was working for had been known for his, he was a defense attorney.
Yeah. And I'm sure she didn't feel all that great defending somebody that it seemed pretty obvious was guilty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you kind of have to say, I don't know if she had her mind made up or not on the case, but it sure seemed like this guy was quite obviously the killer.
What you find from media and things like that.
Yeah, just how the whole thing unraveled. They find him sitting there bloody in his truck with her items, and she's laying dead over an embankment. But if you're going to work in that field, be part of a defense team, you're going to have to defend some pretty messed up people.
But I think that this case kind of drove your mom away from the defensive end of law. Though that was her passion, because the way she loved to watch true crime and things like that.
Yeah.
But this kind of rattled her.
It may have.
And then she went on to do like disability.
Yeah, she got out of that. She went on to I think less stressful.
She went on to do disability, and then she actually went and worked in the circuit court system. But
she ended up right back in it.
But she wasn't on the offense or the defense. She
was the neutral. Yeah, she was the one helping the judge out. She wasn't working for one side or the other.
Like she got her, if you want to call it, fix of getting to know the whole story and the true crime part,
Yeah.
But she didn't have to choose one side or the other or be out there doing the dangerous stuff, getting depositions and
Right.
things like
Yeah,
that.
she wasn't having done that crazy stuff
Having
anymore.
to visit. I know she said a few times that she had to, not in this particular case, but she had to go visit, people in jail that had been convicted of crimes and stuff like that. And that, made her nervous and stuff as well.
But yeah, my mom wasn't a big burly woman.
No, she's a little 5 foot,
She was this tiny
110
little
pound little woman that had to ride in the booster seat to drive. I can say that now. Yeah, I can hear her yelling at me though, saying, "Don't be making fun of me because I can't reach the pedals." I mean, these guys could have easily broke her in two.
If anybody tried to get a hold of her, I mean, she wouldn't have had a chance. Yeah. She was a very small lady, and yeah, that's why I was happy that she began carrying around that time. Her and Dad for peace of mind. This is when she started carrying.
Yeah, but that little 38 still would have knocked her on her bottom.
It wasn't a 38; it was a 22.
Oh, okay. Well, the little 22 would have knocked her on her bottom. It
probably would have. She learned how to shoot it, so that's the one that Dad gave her to keep on her at all.
Can't imagine her shooting anything bigger than that. A little air rifle.
Yeah, my mom couldn't brandish something any larger than 22. So anyway, we kind of got off on a little tangent there. So yeah, my mom was involved in some capacity. I'm not sure exactly how important this deposition was to the case or anything like that.
She wouldn't tell us.
Yeah, I just know that it happened, and I remember it happening. And yeah, she was a little freaked out, and so was my dad's. But now during this trial, and I don't know if maybe this was part of what Mom was involved with. I don't know. During this trial, it turns out that there were some previous problems with Mr. Clawvern Jacobs. And this is something that I never heard about at the time. I didn't even know about till we started doing our research. This guy was apparently close to becoming a serial killer.
Yes, he had been convicted before. And this was brought to light during the first trial, but they didn't want to allow it to stand.
Yeah, he was already convicted of murder once before in 1974.
He was convicted of the beating death of Katie Gibson, 55. And then his conviction was overturned 4 years later because one of his jurors should have been disqualified.
Yeah, so he got out of that murder conviction.
Wonder, and you can find very little information about this. I would love to know who his attorney was and if it was the same attorney that he had in Judy's case.
Yeah, that'd be nice to know. Unfortunately, you come up with just about nothing when you research that first murder case.
Because I would like to
know. It took us forever just to find the name.
Because just one juror, you know what I'm saying, changes the entire verdict.
Yeah, it can. Well, I mean, the same thing kind of happens again with the Judy Ann Howard case. He
allegedly shot, beat, and robbed this lady in the Pine Top area of Knott County.
It was an eerily similar case to the Judy Ann Howard.
Except she was older. And at the time, he would have been just 74. So he would have been mid-20s.
Yeah, he would have been
late 20s.
Yeah, mid-20s. He'd been about 24.
He was 36 when he killed Judy.
Yeah, he'd been 23, 24.
He was picking up women. What would he been wanting with a 55-year-old woman?
I don't know. I think he was getting started on becoming a serial killer. I really do. I think this is one of those cases where the guy was stopped.
Just in time.
Because he was convicted, although it was overturned because of a juror problem. He was convicted of murdering Katie Gibson, 55. But they ultimately, I guess, didn't allow that because it had been overturned.
Yeah, the Lady Bird Gibson or Katie Gibson case, they would not let be prosecuted with this new case of Judy Ann.
They wouldn't allow the information from that case to be presented in this one. Right?
Because it had been overturned. So they were like, nope.
So they're like, even though you can't use that.
They were just trying to use it to show a pattern and that he had been convicted.
Yeah.
But then, one juror, like whoever's attorney is like really nitpicky and digging deep.
Well, that's what you got to do as a defense attorney.
Yeah.
That's how you get people off.
So, but there was another lady that was allowed to present or was questioned as a witness in the case, and her name was Debbie Smith.
Yeah. It turns out that somebody else had an encounter with Mr. Clawvern Jacobs just a few months or so prior to what happened to Judy Ann.
Mm-hmm. And this was, close to Alice Lloyd College around the Hyman area. So I'm going to assume along 550 because, it's just a hop over the hill to Alice Lloyd College. So 550 area. I can't find a lot of information about that either.
She testified in the case,
Yes,
though, right?
yes, they allowed her to testify in the case and he tried to kidnap her, but she was able to fight and get away.
Yeah, she was able to get away from it. So she was one of the lucky ones. And that definitely
They helped the case a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean that shows a pattern. I mean, he was convicted for Katie Gibson.
Yep.
Even though it was later overturned. So you gotta kind of assume he must have killed her.
Right.
And then this woman was almost abducted by him. She's like, yeah, I was able to fight and get away from him. And then Judy Ann
wasn't so lucky.
So that would have been 3. If that one girl hadn't got away, that would have been 3.
Yeah.
That would have officially made him a serial killer.
Because it was spread out over time.
Yeah, over the course of 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think there was a pattern emerging. I think he was starting to get back to it. There may be others.
Yeah.
But we just don't know about it.
We could go back to Kelly Holland.
Mousie's not too far from Pippa Passes.
No.
He disappeared in 81.
I'm just saying.
But that seems out of
yeah, it may.
Yeah, he seemed to like the girls.
But if you're just testing the waters, you may take someone you know is not going to be able to fight you.
I mean, I'm not saying that TV detectives. I'm not saying TV detectives are accurate or anything, but you hear it all the time about patterns emerging and serial killers trying to find their niche or whatever.
Now, there's some rumors that, and we couldn't find this information as well, that he was in the Vietnam War, and this kind of weighed heavily on his mental state. But if his first kill was at, say, 25, he wouldn't have finished his service, I would assume.
Yeah, I looked around as much as I could. I could not find military service related to Clawvern Jacobs.
I mean, I'm not saying that he didn't, or maybe he was, dismissed early.
Yeah, he could have had a dishonorable discharge or something. I don't know. But yeah, we did find that one little thing that was talking about Vietnam. And that would have been pretty close, I think. Vietnam wasn't over till 75. And
right.
Yeah, so he could have served.
But he supposedly killed Lady Bird Gibson in 74.
I'm just saying he could have served. He could have joined when he was 18 or something.
Yeah, just as it was ending.
Yeah, and it would have been like 69 or something like that. And then, yeah, after 4 or 5 years, he got a dishonorable discharge or an honorable discharge. Who knows? But like I said, I couldn't find anything about his service.
Like I said, it could just be a rumor. I mean, it could be true.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. That could be an explanation. Vietnam really messed with this guy, messed with his head, and that what caused him to lash out and kill these people or attempt to kill these people. Now, several psychologists, psychiatrists, whatever, talked with this guy.
Yeah, he even did like the Kentucky Correctional Psychiatrist exam or something. That they have a center that they take them to. Yeah,
they even studied him with various medications and things too. And this was during the whole, seeing if he was competent to stand trial stuff. But none of them ever noted that, he was psychotic or, having any kind of episodes, any kind of PTSD, they didn't mention any of that stuff, at least in what I found.
No, they couldn't find anything.
Yeah. And they found him competent to stand trial.
And that's something that his attorneys and stuff kept pushing is he's incompetent, mental illness, and they just couldn't find it.
Alcoholic.
Well, I mean, his family did state that he had a problem with alcohol when he got really drunk, that he was very mean and violent.
Oh.
Yeah. His mother had made that statement. I think an aunt had made that statement. And then, his dad said that the truck was in his name, but it was Clawvern's.
Yeah.
He was the primary driver. And they had also questioned one of his sisters who had said she didn't know where he had been that night. So it's kind of no
Yeah.
reason. And then a couple cousins that they had questioned as well, but they hadn't seen him like a week prior. So when he had helped them haul lumber or wood, and that's the last they had seen of him. So, but his mother did state that he had a really bad issue with alcohol.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of people that we refer to as angry drunks.
Yeah.
I think we all know a few of them.
Like I said, they stated that he was violent, not angry.
Yeah,
So.
violent's a little different than angry. Violent means you like intentionally start trying to harm people when you get drunk.
And two people's probably thinking, well, she may have left with this man. I'm going to post pictures of him on TikTok and pictures of her. And he's not the kind of guy that this wholesome, Christian, God loving, hardworking, you know what I'm saying? Like,
he's not a good looking man.
No, she's not leaving that campus with this guy.
Yeah, he's a little crazy looking. He looks like one of those guys that are like dancing around the street.
He kind of favors Manson a little bit.
I was kind of thinking the same thing. Yeah. He kind of has that same vacant look to his face and his eyes. Yeah. He's got that receding hairline, long stringy hair. Charles Manson like skullet type of thing going on. A little bit of a goatee. Yeah, he's just got these black vacant eyes.
The eyebrows. I always look at, like, when I see pictures and stuff of somebody that they're trying to convict of murder, stuff, like, you can just tell it in their eyebrows. There's something about the eyebrows.
The eyebrows? I always said the eyes.
Well, I mean in the eyes, but if you pay attention to the eyebrows too, they're kind of dropped as well with the eyes.
Like droopy eyebrows means you're a crazy person?
There's like an M in their forehead, you know what I'm saying, in that area.
Those eyebrows and wrinkles. I can usually just tell, like I said, from the eyes. You can tell a lot about somebody from the look in their eyes. And, there's a difference between this guy being worn down and just tired of the trial and worried about conviction. You don't see that. You just see this vacant, whatever, look in their eyes. Anyway, going back to the trial.
So, the defense attorney said his mental capacity would remain, that he was competent to appear in court. The defense attorney also had said Jacobs wanted to deliberately present a weak defense because he thinks he will be acquitted miraculously by God. Yeah. He had also told psychiatrists he wanted to be tried in front of the most prejudiced jury possible, so his acquittal will seem to be the work of God.
Yeah, definitely crazy. He thought that God was going to save him from conviction.
And then a nurse at the Kentucky Correctional Psychiatrist Center in LaGrange wrote in her report that Jacob said he would rather go to prison than a mental hospital because there were so many weird people in the state mental hospital. And he also told the nurse that he had sent his lawyers on a wild goose chase and that he had information that they hadn't picked up on it. So that makes you wonder if he's done this more than once.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, this guy's definitely crazy. Well, it didn't help. He was convicted.
And then also, there was a cop. He drove around from 1 in the morning until 9 or 10 o'clock at night, he said.
Yeah, the detective that originally had him in custody. Yeah.
And this was Frank Fleming, Detective Frank Fleming. And he said that he had one of the most normal and intelligent conversations as you would have with anyone.
With Clawvern Jacobs.
With Clawvern Jacobs, yeah. Said he didn't even have him in handcuffs.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this guy was not threatening at all.
Right.
That's wild.
And then he was treated with antipsychotic medications for 60 days as required by state statute.
Yeah, I knew they tried some medications.
And said he did not respond to the drugs. Continued treatment, in his opinion, would not make Jacobs competent. Then there was another psychiatrist, Mike Netzel, I think that's how he said, a clinical psychologist who teaches at the University of Kentucky, had conducted research in forensic psychology and, said he had competence to stand trial.
Yeah. They sent him to all these experts and testing his competence to stand trial. And he was obviously competent, no matter what may have been the situation on that night. If he was having some kind of psychotic breakdown, some PTSD, he was drunk, he was still competent to stand trial, which means he understood the gravity
Mhm.
of the situation, of the charges against him.
And he was, playing the defense and the other attorneys and the judge. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
but you all are, and I know.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of a Manson tactic.
Yeah.
I'm not the crazy one. You are.
Right.
Well, like I said, it did not work. He was convicted of capital murder.
Mm.
Now, the original sentencing, Judge Morgan gave him the death penalty.
Electric chair, right?
He was to be executed in the electric chair, which was still allowed in Kentucky at that time. But then things started changing. And in 1994, the Kentucky Supreme Court made a new decision. The appellant's death sentence conviction, affirmed in part, but reversed and remanded as to certain procedural issues, notably pretrial publicity, trial venue, and juror impartiality. So here we are back to jury problems.
Yeah.
So his first murder trial, his first conviction was overturned because of jury problems. And here we are again, about 4 years after the original trial. Because of jury problems, they're rethinking things. Thankfully, they still held up the fact that he was guilty. But instead of the death sentence, he was now receiving life in prison.
Again, not fair.
Yeah, he was convicted of the crime. He was given the death sentence. I think they should have carried it out. And 4 or 5 years later, the guy's still sitting there. I mean, I know they get a lot of appeals and stuff, but
Just seems like he's
um,
always winning. It's kind of
yeah,
weird.
they shouldn't let this guy out of that. He should have been sitting in that chair.
So, old Sparky's seat's warm for him.
Yeah, should have been. But then we jump ahead now to the later 90s up to 2000. There was a retrial in a different venue. It was changed to Warren County. The new trial had charges including capital murder, first-degree sexual abuse, and first-degree kidnapping. He was convicted again and sentenced to death for capital murder with concurrent sentences for other convictions. Then we arrive in 2001 where they have another appeal hearing. The conviction is affirmed, but the death sentence for capital murder is vacated or reversed because the court found lack of sufficient aggravating circumstances to support a death sentence. So they changed their mind on the fact that the rape was considered an aggravating, what is that?
How do they know if he
An
did it
aggravating
before
circumstance that led
or
to the
after, or he did it before or after, or he did it, before and then killed her and then did it again?
Right.
Was that something that was looked at? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I have no idea. They just felt that rape was not a sufficient aggravating circumstance that led to the murder. So because of that,
Wow.
they dropped the death sentence and he went back to life in prison. In 2008, he tried out the Court of Appeals again, but that didn't go anywhere because apparently Jacobs did not file certain motions related to the capital claims. So it just kind of got tossed out. Now, this is recent. In 2021, some people may remember this. There was a news story on WIMT and everything about certain murderers could be eligible for parole because of a policy change in Kentucky. The parole policy in Kentucky became the subject of legislative and administrative changes. The AG's office filed a complaint with attachments summarizing several historic cases, including Clawvern Jacobs, representing the facts and procedural history. These filings include summaries of the kidnapping, murder, autopsy, trial history, convictions, appellate decisions, and media outlets report on how the policy changes may affect Jacobs and other inmates with long sentences. And then apparently later on that year, or maybe 2022, something like that, that whole policy was changed again because everybody, I remember this too, everybody got upset because these murderers might be set free because Kentucky was getting a little easy on the parole policy of the state. Now you can blame that on whoever you want to. Just saying that we happened to get a new governor not long before this happened. So because of all these policy changes and all this stuff, it's not easy to figure out exactly how long he has to stay in there. A judge temporarily halted some of those parole board actions in 2021. So, I mean, any changes to his release date would depend on, later parole board action and judicial rulings. Bottom line, he's supposed to be serving life. So we can assume that he's probably not going to get out.
Yeah.
But, with these policy changes, it's unclear, really.
So, yeah, right now he's like 78-ish.
Is he that old?
Yeah.
Let's see, he was 30. He was in his 30s
36.
When this murder took place. He was 36. So, yeah, that would put him 40 years ago almost.
And if I read correctly, that he could appeal again in 2026 sometime.
They should definitely not let him appeal. Just my personal opinion.
And then
he should stay in there.
Age 86, that would make him 50 years in prison.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he got 20 years for the rape, I think, maybe. He got some other time for aggravated assault or whatever.
And then capital murder.
And then capital murder was the big one, which was originally a death sentence but got turned into life in prison.
Yeah. And life is 25 years, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Looking at 5 more years that he may get out.
I really hope not. He's a really old man now, so.
Yeah, somebody probably could take him out with his cane or something.
Yeah, they'd probably take him out now.
But still.
Yeah, still, you don't want somebody that's done something like that running around.
He should continue to stay in prison because he kidnapped her. So.
Yeah. Yeah, there's kidnapping charges, there's assault, rape, all that. He got time for all that stuff. So I would think that, he would have to be staying in prison for a lot longer than, I don't know.
Yeah, if he got 25 for every count, we're looking at him being 111 years old. People don't live that long.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I don't think you can make it that long. Even with that nice federal and state money paying for your health, all them taxes that I have to pay into.
So apparently, close to when Judy was killed, I heard a story. I don't know if it's tied together, that someone had found pictures. Because Alice Lloyd still does a yearbook for the college, if I remember correctly, is what they said. They done a yearbook for the college.
Yeah.
And that some of the students had went to one of the media rooms or something other and found pictures of her. Don't know if it's directly tied to what Clawvern did to her or whatever, but there was blood splatter on the photos. That's a rumor. Sure.
Yeah.
But there's
But if that happened, that sounds like somebody being a butthead.
Yeah. But there is also a rumor, and in honor of her name at Alice Lloyd College, had opened a dormitory and dedicated it to Judy. And
they gave it her name.
Yeah, it's called Howard Hall. Howard's Hall.
Howard's Hall.
But people say that they have seen apparitions of Judy walking along the campus around that hall or in the hall, like she never really left. She's still at school.
Now we have a supernatural element to this story.
I mean, there's other places on the campus as well. I think Cushing's Hall is haunted. There's other stories, but that one goes with this episode. The story goes with this episode.
Yeah, I've heard plenty of stories of hauntings at Alice Lloyd College from several people. Like I said, I've had some friends that went there. I've heard stories from them. I've heard stories from just random people that have also heard stories.
Our oldest went over there to elementary school when he first started kindergarten.
Jim Buchanan.
Yeah. And I remember, people tell me that it's like next door to the den, which the cafeteria is supposedly haunted as well. But then there's Cushing Hall. They're like, oh, that's haunted too. So I was like, you know what?
Wow.
I'm just gonna go in here, get my child, and put him in the car and go home. I'm not gonna.
I don't want to deal with any ghosts.
Which I'd been in the cafeteria, the den as they call it, to have lunch with him during parent involvement, little activities and stuff.
Right.
So, but I didn't wander in any of their places.
Well, that's cool. They named a dorm after him. People have actually seen Judy and Howard wandering the halls of Howard's Hall,
or just the street of the campus.
Yeah, on the street too. Wow. I don't know that any of the stories I've heard from Alice Lloyd are directly involving this woman, but that's cool. I mean, yeah, nice little supernatural side note to this whole story.
Mm.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So if anybody out there has had any kind of spooky encounters in Pepapassus at Alice Lloyd College, be sure to let us know. Leave us a comment. Like and share our episode.
So, I wanted to say before we closed out this episode that we want to take a moment to honor the memory of my mother-in-law, Phantom's mom, Mary K. Ritchie Cornett, a woman whose courage and quiet strength continues to inspire us. And she was fresh out of college, and one of her very first cases as a young paralegal was, of course,
Clawvern Jacobs.
yeah, Judy Ann Howard's case, a tragedy that, shook the community. And she never spoke about the details, and those who knew her understood the weight she had to carry, from the experiences to the deep respect she held the truth of justice. Her compassion didn't end in the courtroom. Her heart lives on through her memorial scholarship, the Mary K. Ritchie Cornett Memorial Scholarship, which is in place. We started for her.
Yeah, a
It's
very, very special scholarship that we did in her memory for those like-minded individuals that are all about justice and law,
yeah.
like she was.
Yeah, we encourage those that want to apply, that want to pursue a career in law, but we will accept any student.
Yeah, any and
that,
all students are welcome
'cause
to apply.
your mom wouldn't turn anyone away because
No,
they didn't have
absolutely
the
not.
same interests as her.
Yeah, absolutely not.
But
But
it's for
that was her passion. Her livelihood was the law and justice and the court system. To honor her, we do give a slight preference to
yeah.
those pursuing law or law enforcement.
This scholarship is eligible for any Knott County, Kentucky student. You attend Knott Central, or you attend Jim Buchanan, or you attend Cordia High School. You are eligible to apply, and you can go to Mary K. Ritchie Cornett.com, and all the information's there on how to apply. And I've also sent information to your guidance counselors. And anyone that wishes to donate can also go to this website as well and make a donation toward the scholarship. And we give out $1,000 to a student that we choose from one of the schools. We would like to make this grow and be able to offer a scholarship to each of the high schools in Knott County if we can come up with the money.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Or, I'm going to be like your mom and I'm going to dream big. And I would love to be able to offer $1,000 to every senior in Knott County that
Oh, yeah.
graduates.
Yeah, that would be
because
amazing.
your mom was just, if she could go big, she would.
Yeah.
So, we have goals. We're slowly making it. Last year, we were able to give away one to a student in Knott County, and that was Miss Molly Sandlin was our first recipient. So we like to see that grow.
Absolutely. And anybody out there listening that may have a few dollars laying around that you don't know what to do with, why don't you donate it?
Invested in a child's
Yeah.
education.
Yeah, donate it to this scholarship fund, and it'll go towards a child's education.
And we do have criteria that we try to go through, and it opens every year on her birthday, and we close it around Christmas because that's the time that we as a family get together and we want to honor her. And we were always a big Christmas family, so that kind of
Yeah.
gives us time to reminisce on the good times with mom and dad.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a good time to discuss the scholarship now.
Mm-hmm.
And her memory and who out of the applicants will be receiving the scholarship.
And I remember your mom telling us a lot that there was a shortage in paralegals, especially in in Knott County.
Yeah.
They're all the time looking for someone.
Yeah, she was wanted by just about every attorney in Knott and Perry County because she was very good.
Mm-hmm.
But not just that, she was one of the few who were good. Everybody needed a good paralegal, and they were really hard to find, in our area.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you could go to bigger areas and they were just overrun with paralegals. But in our area, yeah, it wasn't too many of them running around.
Yeah. So again, you can go to MaryKRitchieCornett.com and you can find all the information there on how to apply or how to donate. So
yeah, help us out.
Not help us out. We're helping Knott County students out because college is expensive. Very expensive.
Oh
So,
yeah. Yeah, help us help them
Yeah.
because it's outrageously expensive for college nowadays.
Yeah, don't let finances be a burden to a student not being able to attend college and
Yeah. Yeah, look for all the options out there. There's plenty of scholarships just like this one.
Well, ours are specifically for Knott County, and that's
Yeah.
what makes it special, is because
Right.
it goes directly to a Knott County senior.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying you should explore all your options though. There are other scholarships available. There's plenty of help if you want to seriously pursue. So check out that scholarship page. And as we mentioned earlier, be sure to check out our previous episode and leave a comment.
Hoodoo in the holler.
Hoodoo in the holler. Leave a comment and let us know you want some free merch. We'll put your name on the wheel and we'll give it a spin. Hopefully on the next episode of Appalachia. Not so quiet. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. Keep listening, keep liking, keep sharing. I'm your host, Hillbilly Phantom.
And I'm Appalachian Shade.
And we'll see you on the next one. Till then, watch out for them boogers.